redshirt him will be an interesting decision for Jim Harbaugh to come to in the second half.
Well, that's one we'll really be keeping an eye on is Patterson.
16-yard pass to Gentry across the middle here. Interesting pass protection. I'm not entirely sure why they do this, but the offensive line shifts to or slants to the right. I think it's possibly because of this play action to Evans, and Evans is just responsible for this left edge. That's my guess. He might have seen something with the personnel here, but I think that's probably why it's chosen to do that slant right with Evans across the formation. They do a good job. They give Patterson plenty of time, as you see. Rutgers only sends 4, but it's a really clean pocket, and Evans especially does a good job on the left edge here. As far as routes go, you're going to need to have DPJ on sort of a delayed crossing route. She's going to wait for Gentry to cross his face before he crosses the field. Gentry will do an outside, so he'll cut in front of DPJ before going on an in route he'll eventually get thrown to. McCune is on a seam route, so a bit outside release. He'll just be running straight up field. Then you'll have an outside release sort of out route here for Nico Collins. As far as eyes go for Patterson, looks like initially he's looking at number 11, this defensive back, to see how he plays on Collins versus McCune. I'm guessing probably McCune is his number 1 read, given that Patterson's reaction here. He probably notices that the defensive back follows McCune. That does leave Collins open here. I'm not sure why this wasn't thrown right away. He will eventually get covered up, but it looks like initially this is open. But his second read is probably Gentry, who is cutting across the center of the field now. So another priority here that I'm guessing Patterson is looking at right now is on this linebacker, since this linebacker is drawn up by DPJ's crossing route that allows room behind him to Gentry. It's a good throw. Bit of a question why it wasn't thrown to Nico Collins, but I'm guessing this is just sort of the read progression that Patterson had, and he delivers a nice ball to Gentry for a first down.
Patterson under some pressure. Nobody open. And Patterson flips it to Peoples-Jones. And Peoples-Jones pinballing back.
Nice improvisation from Patterson to DPJ here. Michigan's going to keep in 5 on protection to only 3 rushers from Rutgers. This defensive tackle is actually going to do a good job to spin off and kind of make Patterson uncomfortable. It's a good job of recovery for Onwenu to actually fall back and get a hat on him that allows some room for Patterson to step up. I'm not exactly sure why Patterson decides to go to his left here. It looks like he has a much easier path here to step up and kind of extend it this way. It works, but I'm not exactly sure why he made that decision. As far as routes go, top of the screen, you got Nico Collins on what looks like a deep route, probably just a fly. This is Berkeley Edwards, and I haven't seen him in this sort of package on a crossing route as well as with DPJ. They're going to create this mesh point here. Perry on kind of an outside release out route up here. And then you'll have McCune, who's going to kind of drift to the outside before going straight upfield here, kind of on a seam fade route. As far as eyes go, it looks like the whole way that he's looking at the defensive back on Perry or Collins out here. Maybe this defensive back deeper to see what he reacts to Collins. From there, it looks like he's maybe looked across the middle of the field here to see if anything opening up, but it looks like he's kind of in scramble mode, seeing which way he should go. And then he's going to work his way back to DPJ. It's a good job. Remember, DPJ was over here, so he looked back and found a zone behind these defensive backs. So it's a good job by DPJ to find an area of the field that was open. So he really drifted quite a bit on his crossing route to find this open zone. Generally, it's bad to throw across your body, as Patterson did here, but it works. It's Rutgers, whatever. I was here at the game, so I saw this path that DPJ was taking here. He did have something. Probably that was the last guy needed to make miss before he had a huge spot in the open field, but regardless.
Good protection. Patterson with all day and wide open.
Huge zone coverage bust for Rutgers to give Nico Collins a very easy touchdown. As far as pass rush, Rutgers is only going to bring 2 initially before bringing this linebacker to his right and this linebacker to his left. Michigan is keeping 6 in for pass protection. It's an especially good job here from Gentry to notice, hey, I got these 2 blitzers coming. Let me close this gap. So JBB does a good job on the edge, and Gentry helps. At the time of the throw, it's a relatively clean pocket for Patterson, so not too shabby. As far as routes go, you're going to have just a general fly route from Collins. You'll have this little flat and up route for Bell. Perry's going to run at the first down marker and then sort of turn around. Then you'll have Drew Wilson coming out of the backfield, just kind of plant into the center of the field as well. Obviously, it's zone coverage here. So, someone done goofed on Rutgers, and we'll figure it out really quick here. So they're going to be dropping back. This guy has his quarter on this top of the screen here. Number 6 is going to be dropping back to this location of this safety, and these 2 are responsible for their quarters of the deep here. Number 11 is going to drop back here, and he's responsible for his deep quarter here as well. So that leaves 3 guys responsible for the underneath coverage. This guy is responsible for the center of the field here. This guy is responsible for the flats to the top of the screen, and this guy's responsible to the flats at the bottom of the screen. So I know that's pretty sloppy, but that's the general coverage. So the main gap here, this is in, this guy has to cover this deep quarter for Bell. So this guy needs to recognize that he needs to get greater depth on his zone coverage here. Instead, he doesn't realize that Nico Collins is there. As a result, it's wide open, and that's where Patterson was looking all the way. So easy touchdown, blown coverage, and it's 6 points.
5-man pressure. Patterson looking for his tight end.
Phenomenal catch from Gentry for 21 yards. Interesting pass rush for Rutgers here. You'll have number 7 off the edge. You're going to have this defensive tackle crashing down, this defensive end going upfield. These 2 linebackers are actually going to be blitzing as well. So Michigan actually does a pretty good job of picking it up. Main things to point out here is this linebacker comes to the outside, and that's where Higdon's actually going to pick him up. Great play here where this linebacker is coming to attack this C gap, and he'll actually have Onwenu go around JBB's back and then pick him up right before he can get pressure on Patterson. So it's really good job by Onwenu to shift over there. Ruiz does be a little bit late, but that was probably 4 seconds into the drop, so not a big issue there. As far as routes go, you're going to have both Nico Collins and DPJ on these sort of outside release, inside comeback hitch routes, whatever you want to call them. So they'll get to the first down marker and then turn back towards the quarterback. Perry's on a deep cross route here. And then you'll have Gentry on this sort of outside release. I think it's called a circle route. I'm not sure. He's actually kind of doing the same route that Perry's doing, except he's obviously a little bit behind it, given that he's coming from the inside back across the field. So as far as eyes go for Patterson here, he's looking at this deep safety, number 23, across the center of the field. He's going to see how he reacts to Perry coming across the center of the field. If he takes Perry, then that'll open up Gentry. As you can see now, he's probably seen that safety did take Perry on his route. Now he's looking at Gentry, who's making his inside cut here, and delivers a nice high ball only where Gentry can get it. That is perfect ball placement. Really tough for the defensive back to have any sort of chance on that. And it's just a really great catch, and that is perfect.
To your effort, maximum effort from Rick Pisa. Patterson on the roll on 3rd down, flips it to Peoples-Jones. What a grab!
Designed roll left for Patterson here, and it's just a beautiful play all around. I really like getting Patterson on the move. So, as far as the offensive line, their whole goal is to hook around to the left, give Patterson time and space around, and then the backside, just don't let anyone through. So they all do a good job. Drew Wilson especially gets around to the outside and chooses really well on who to block here. So notice no one's really getting through. Biggest threat here is 96, who Bradyson does kind of get pushed back quite a bit. Good job by True Wilson to stop, get a chip on him. 95 is way too far away to actually have an impact here, so it's a good job by True Wilson to decide to block 96, give that extra bit of time for Patterson. It's only a two-man, since it's mass protect, it's only a two-man route here. You'll have this sort of outside release quick out route for Nico Collins, and then you're going to have a flag route for DPJ. And DPJ is the intended target here all the way. So it's a nice roll. It turns the shoulders. Just good technique out of Patterson here. And obviously all the way he's looking at, at this point, Collins is already out of bounds, so he's looking at DPJ. He's the number one read on this. Perfectly placed ball just over the hands of this defensive back, who's not in terrible position to make a play, but good job by DPJ to shift his body, get both feet in bounds. Just great body control, great athleticism on display.
Brooklyn. 2nd down and 10 at the 16. Play action all day for Patterson. Nobody open. Still looking. Shea Patterson on the run for the end zone.
Touchdown Martin on another incredible improvisation play here. So it's a play action, and Michigan's going to keep in, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people to block. It's only a two-man route. You will have True Wilson leaking out here a little bit late, but it's another two-man route, and no one really comes open. So this whole time, it's just a matter of keeping his eyes downfield, blocking anyone who comes free. Given there's 4 people coming through and it took this long, I'm not going to ding anyone on the offensive line for letting them through that late. That's just kind of how it works. Eubanks is going in on a seam route. He's going to be double covered pretty heavily. Doesn't really have any room to operate. And then you'll have Martin running a post here. He's actually going to fall down. So he'll run a post. He'll fake outside before cutting across the end zone on his post route. He actually falls down at the end of this route. So you see Eubanks is really well covered, and you'll see Martin will actually fall here at the tail end of his route. So it's the correct decision by Patterson to not throw either one of those. They're both very covered, and Martin's on the ground. Eubanks kind of gives up at this point. I mean, he's way at the top of the screen. It's going to be a really tough throw, anything here. I would like to see him probably come up back towards the quarterback. But it's a good job by Martin to flow with Patterson, work with him on his rollout. Then a really nice fingertip grab here. So good improv. Good job by Martin to go with the flow of the play, and it's a good throw on the run for Patterson.
Here's Patterson looking all the way for Nico Collins.
Quick throw all the way. Nothing really to mention on the blocking. They're actually not really pass blocking. They're all going downfield here. And this is just I'm going to throw it up to my tall man, and you're going to try to guard it. And, at the time of throwing, no one's in the same stratosphere here in the backfield, so plenty of room. You're going to have both Nico Collins and DPJ running these fade routes. I'm guessing this is honestly just to practice a fade. And why not? I mean, they're on single coverage, and it's not a bad decision. Pretty high percentage from the 10-yard line. That's when I like to see these fades, not from within the 5, but at the 10, 15-yard line. Perfect spot for a fade route try. Ball placement is excellent. He gives enough air under it for Nico Collins to adjust in air. It's a good job by Nico Collins here to turn at the right time in the air, catch it, and then rotate outside. It's really hard for any defensive back to swipe at this ball. He can't really see the ball. So it's a good job getting his back to the defender, not allowing any sort of defense on the ball. It's a really, really tough play to defend against when it's thrown that well and executed that well. If it's that well timed, it's going to be a touchdown most of the time. So it's nice to see that this is now in their arsenal, something teams got to prepare for.